Welcome to the latest edition of Between the Hash Marks with James Koklek. I am Sean McCabe, and we have an exciting show for you today. We're fully loaded with intriguing topics. We have both of our AFC predictions, division winners, wildcard predictions, playoff matchups in the AFC. Can anyone bring down the New England Patriots? We are also going to discuss Saturday night's so-called Superfight and how much of a chance McGregor really has. Remember to like our Facebook page at BT Hashmarks. Subscribe to our YouTube page, Between the Hashmarks channel. Also, we will be soon starting a segment where we will answer your questions. Email them to the show at bthashmarks@gmail.com. We already have dozens of questions pouring in. But first, let's begin with the opening rant with James.
Your number one source for sports.
You know who I can't stand? Kevin Durant.
He looks like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had a kid.
Now, who can argue with that?
I hate Boston.
I'm the biggest Miami Heat hater you'll ever meet.
I just don't understand where you're getting your bogus information from.
What the hell are you even talking about?
Well, I'm sorry you're too freaking sensitive to handle the truth.
You think I'm crazy? I'm just getting warmed up.
You're now Between the Hash Marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe.
There's just one sport, and every time you go to do a prediction, you always look at the superstars on the teams, and that is basketball. Basketball has a way of working through the standings as you look at the top and you see, okay, they have the most superstars, they have the second most superstars, they have the third most superstars on those teams. I think Cleveland made a colossal mistake by trading Kyrie Irving. I think that it was asinine of them. He is a 25-year-old superstar who is a four-time All-Star already. He is a clutch shooter with clutch genes that are hard to come by. Without Kyrie Irving, the Cavs are 0-3 in the finals over the last 3 years. Kyrie Irving brings an intensity and ball handling like no other person in this league other than Russell Westbrook. Kyrie Irving is a tier 1 superstar in this league. Kyrie Irving is nothing short of a player that's on a LeBron James level, on a Kevin Durant level. You look at the trade, and are the Cavs in it to win it this year, or are the Cavs in it to win it in the long run? Are they going to keep LeBron after this year? Is he going to stay? Because you know what? If LeBron is leaving after this year, then this trade, and they're all in to win this year, this trade doesn't make sense for them. Okay? Isaiah Thomas is coming off of a huge hip injury that he got in the playoffs. He had off-season hip surgery. He's still recovering. He may not be back until December. You have Jay Crowder, yes, a great defensive player, a player that can really play lockdown defense against the other team's second best player per se. I don't think he's good enough to be that lockdown defender on the first guy, on a LeBron James or a Kevin Durant. I think those players will win that matchup every time. And a first-round pick from Brooklyn that's unprotected. Yes, 2018, it's this upcoming year. Brooklyn should be the worst team in the league this year. This should be the first overall pick in the league. But that being said, there is nothing that says that pick is going to be this great player either. You're basing this trade off of the future for Cleveland, and you should be all in to win right now. Cleveland has the team to win right now. They went out to get a Jimmy Butler and a Paul George. They went out to add to this team, and then all of a sudden Kyrie breaks this news that he wants to be traded. If you go and tell your boss that you want something done, and you want it done now, is he going to do it like that? No, he's not. Chances are he's going to tell you, go back to work. You're paying Kyrie Irving $20-something million a year to be a superstar. Why do you have to listen to him? If you're going to trade him, don't trade him and don't settle for a trade just because he wants to be traded. He's under contract. He is part of your team. If you want him on that roster in Cleveland, he was on that roster in Cleveland. You were in charge. I guess that's why Cleveland's in such turmoil. I guess that's why LeBron wants to leave after this year. That's why the general manager was fired after they just went to the finals 3 years in a row. I thought he put together a pretty good team. I thought the general manager did his job. What are your thoughts about that? Because I think Cleveland made a huge, colossal mistake. I think that this is a superstar-driven league, and you just traded a superstar who hit the clutch shot for you to win your first ever championship in Cleveland and the first one in 52 years in the city. I think it was a huge mistake, and I think Cleveland's going to pay down the line.
So this is going to be kind of insane to you because, I'm a Celtics fan. I don't think it's as big of a mistake as you're making it out to be. I actually think the Cavs got a little bit better this season with the additions of Crowder and Isaiah Thomas. He's going to score like Kyrie Irving. I know he's not going to play until November or December, but that part of the season really doesn't matter. There's really no significance in that part of the season. I think he's going to score just like Kyrie does, and he's amazingly clutch. His numbers in the fourth quarter are incredible. However, I do agree with you that the Celtics won this trade. Absolutely, the Celtics won this trade. And I'm surprised that there have been a lot of reaction out here that everybody's saying, Cleveland definitely won this trade, absolutely won this trade. And I like that they got that pick from Boston. It's going to be a top 5 pick from the Nets. The Nets are going to be god-awful this season.
They should be the worst team in the league.
They should be the worst team in the league, and that should give them the first pick, but it doesn't work like
Crazier
that.
Crazier things have happened.
Yes, exactly. But that does not make them better. You're exactly right. It doesn't make them better right now. It makes them better for the future. It makes me think that, they're preparing for LeBron to leave, so we need this pick now because we're probably going to re-sign Isaiah Thomas. We're going to give him that money, and we're going to build along that road. But when you look at trades over the course of history in the NBA, when one team gains a superstar and the other team gains just a bunch of stuff, the team that got the superstar always won the trade. Always won the trade, and Kyrie Irving is the superstar in this trade.
It's a superstar-driven league.
Exactly. And it's the only league, I think, where one player moving to a team completely changes the team for better or for worse.
And one single player can physically win you a handful of games or 10, 11 games during the course of an 82-game season that will put you over the top, where that can't happen in football or in hockey or even baseball. I think that Kyrie is going to single-handedly bring the Celtics at least 5 more wins in a season.
Okay.
At least.
By
himself.
I think their overall record this season will be better. I mean, you just look at their starting lineup: Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, Marcus Morris, and they say Jaylen Brown now. I'm not sure about that. I think they should start Marcus Smart first, but it doesn't really matter. That starting lineup is dangerous, and if you're a Boston Celtics fan, you're excited for going into this season, and you haven't been this excited since the Celtics got Ray Allen and KG.
One thing that I'm going to say that I have to add, because I pretty much have said everything on this subject, I think it's clear that Boston has won this trade, for me at least, is that we don't know who's going to be in the NBA Finals this year for the Eastern Conference.
You think it's that wide open?
And we haven't been able to say that over the last 3 years.
See, I don't think it's to that level yet, just because I don't trust everybody on Boston's bench. They have a nice bench. I love Jason Tatum. I think he's going to be really, really, really good. I love Marcus Smart. I like Terry Rozier. But other than that, I am not really in love with anybody else on their bench. So, especially down low.
What about Cleveland's bench, though? I mean, they don't have anything, too spectacular. They have J.R. Smith. Well, J.R. Smith hits big shots, don't get me wrong, but he's extremely inconsistent.
Well, I think their bench is... They have far more depth in their bench because they have... I think the signing of Jeff Green is a little underrated because of his defensive ability.
Yes.
I think Channing Frye, he still has the 3. Kyle Korver, I think Kyle Korver is going to benefit playing an entire season with the Cavaliers. And I think the Derrick Rose signing, okay. But I also love that they got Jose Calderon. They have 3 legitimate point guards on that team. And I think that takes some of the burden off of Isaiah Thomas to feel like he has to lead this offense when LeBron James is not on the floor. And that is something that the Cavs struggled with last season. When LeBron was not on the floor, they were
especially in the playoffs,
especially in the finals. Oh my! Don't even get me started.
It was not the NBA Finals everybody was hoping to see this year for a rematch.
Yes. I do want to say one thing though. With the Celtics, even though I think they're slightly worse than the Cavs, I think they got better. You can clearly see what they are trying to do. They are young. They are exciting. They have the best young coach in the league, probably the second best coach in the league right now behind Greg Popovich, and he gets the most out of his players. They have a clear identity of what they are trying to do. Everybody on that team is really young, except for Al Horford, who's not really that old, but they have a really young team, clear identity. The Cavs may be slightly better right now, and they got a little bit better on defense, a little bit more depth, but they're filled with drama, filled with uncertainty. They have zero identity. Everything is confusing.
Turmoil.
The front office, unstable, turmoil. They are better now, but I don't think they are better in the long run, and I think that's one of the main reasons why they made Boston give up that number 1 draft pick.
And I think give it a couple years down the line. You can never really base a trade after it happens. You gotta wait a couple of years to see how each team turns out with the players that it got. Do those players leave? Do they get traded again somewhere else? Things of that nature. I think if the Cavs can get a superstar with that number 1 overall pick, if it is a number 1 overall pick from Brooklyn, I think that a couple years down the line, if Isaiah Thomas is still there, 31 years old, let's say, Kevin Love's still there. They have a number 1 overall pick who's now 3 years into the league, who's become a superstar. It could end up benefiting them down the line. But as of right now, if you're looking at the picture, Kyrie Irving, a 4-time All-Star.
It's a lot of ifs.
For Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying for
and
Cleveland.
Now you're looking at facts. Kyrie Irving, 4-time All-Star, could have been the NBA's most valuable player the year that they won it. He should have been. He is a clutch player. He's got the clutch gene that most players don't have, to be quite frankly. Maybe how many players would you say in the NBA have a clutch gene right now? Maybe 5 max. So you have a player who is a superstar, who's a top 5 player in this league, in my opinion, and he is proven and has a lot of experience, and he's seasoned in not only the playoffs, but playing in the NBA Finals and playing with the best player in the league, and I think that he's going to learn to lead from that, and this trade is going to take Boston to the top, if not this year or the next year, but within 5 years. Boston, you will have another NBA championship banner to raise.
Hey, man, I hope you are right. I think they have that potential. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I'm very, very skeptical. I do believe in Brad Stevens. I think he has the ability to get the most out of every single player that they have. And I wouldn't be surprised if Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder are worse on the Cavs simply because the Cavs don't have a great coach. I don't think Tyronn Lue is a top 10 coach in the NBA. I think he's
there because LeBron likes him.
Exactly. And I think he does have a defensive mind to a degree. I think he's better than David Blatt. I think that was an upgrade when they made that decision. But I just do not consider him a top 10 coach in the league.
They kind of remind me of the New York Jets. Just a little bit. Although I do like the Jets head coach. I think Todd Bowles is phenomenal. He's just being set
You're saying the Cavs remind you of the Jets?
Yes.
Explain yourself.
Turmoil-wise.
Okay, turmoil-wise.
Turmoil-wise.
Okay.
All you hear is the Cavs in the news for stupid reasons, not basketball-related reasons.
Yes.
And you're always seeing the Jets as a team who wants to be on the back page and not the front page. So that's where I got the comparison from. Not obviously the Cavs are gonna, be a number 1 or number 2 seed in the East this year.
I thought I was gonna have to throw you in the loony bin there for a second.
No, not. But I do want to say that I think the Golden State Warriors are the clear-cut favorite to repeat as champion.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that there's a team in the league now that can even compete. I think that either the Celtics or the Cavs, whichever one makes it to the finals, will get the brooms.
I think the real competition for them, if we're going down that road, is going to be the Western Conference Finals. But one thing I want to leave you with before we end this topic, and I think it's very interesting. We didn't really touch on it too much, but what does this tell you about the 2018 NBA draft? Because Danny Ainge has been one of those guys that did not want to get rid of the draft pick. He didn't want to get rid of it last year. He didn't want to get rid of it the year before. And this year, he's willing to get rid of it for Kyrie Irving. It's interesting to me that Danny Ainge, it seems like he wanted to dish the pick out that ended up drafting Jason Tatum out for a Jimmy Butler or a Paul George, but was unable to get that level of a star, so he kept it. But this year, as soon as the rumblings of a superstar he wanted out, he made that move right away. He wasn't hesitating at all, and I felt, as a Celtics fan, I was very frustrated over the past couple seasons not making that move, and I'm really glad that he made the move this time.
Food for thought. This is a rhetorical question, and I want you guys to really, really, really listen to this and email us what you think, because I think it would be over the top if this happened. Imagine that the Celtics actually did trade that third overall pick for Paul George or Jimmy Butler. Now you're looking at a Kyrie Irving, a Paul George or Jimmy Butler, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, big four.
The new Warriors.
Unbeatable in the East. And we are now looking at a new king in the East, and it's not the Cavaliers anymore. Just some food for thought. Tell me what your thoughts are. Coming up, we are going to talk about Mayweather and McGregor, the so-called super fight that probably won't be a super fight because none of Floyd Mayweather's fights are super fights anymore. But we'll be right back on BTH.
You're listening to Between the Hash Marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe, brought to you by an unknown sponsor we don't have yet. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to BTH. I'm Sean McCabe, and we have a huge fight coming up this Saturday.
Is it really going to be that huge?
Oh, it's going to be so huge. So huge. We have the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight. And no, you're actually right. This fight is actually going to suck a lot. McGregor is going to lose. I don't see how there is any other result possible than McGregor losing. I guess it really comes down to, is he going to get knocked out or is he going to go to the full 12? But let me just explain to you one thing. 90% of the bets Vegas has taken have been on McGregor. 90%. 9-0. Not 1-9. 9-0. 90%. 85% of the money is on Floyd Mayweather. Which really tells you something here, that the sharps know what they are doing and the public does not. The public is falling into this love affair with McGregor because he is out there. He is talking the trash. He is talking the talk. He usually walks the walk, but this is not UFC. And there have been a lot of different smoke shows over the past month or so. Let me just go over a couple of them. The press conferences. I don't know if you watched any of them.
There was 4 of them, I believe.
I don't know how many you watched. I watched 2 of them, and they were ridiculous. They were highly entertaining, but they were absolutely ridiculous. Then there was the Floyd Mayweather coming out, and he was saying, "Oh, I'm getting old. I'm tired. I'm going to change my style of fighting. I'm going to really come after Conor McGregor. I owe it to the fans that they didn't like the Pacquiao fight. I owe it to the fans to just knock McGregor out." If you believe that, you have not been paying attention, folks. You have not been paying attention. If you think Mayweather is going to change his style of fighting, he's going to risk it all just to lose to Conor McGregor. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to win this fight just like he wins every single other fight. And the last smoke show that they pulled off here was the changing of the gloves from 10 ounces
to 8 ounces.
To 8 ounces, yes. Making it seem like this is going to be this huge advantage given to McGregor. Like, oh, Mayweather's giving in to McGregor a little bit. Which, when I first heard, I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. But then I looked into it and I realized Mayweather trains with 8-ounce gloves all the time, just as much as he trains with 10-ounce gloves. It's the same thing for him. The gloves aren't small enough for McGregor to really do any damage to Mayweather. So, if you look at McGregor's sparring, I don't know if you've seen these videos that have come out about Mayweather sparring and McGregor sparring. McGregor looks bad. Very, very, very bad. Even the chance of him knocking Mayweather out, I would say, is less than 2%.
Just like Max Kellerman said, he wouldn't be surprised if Conor McGregor didn't even land one punch on Floyd Mayweather. We're not looking... Here's just a quick stat for you. A couple quick stats. Would you put Manny Pacquiao in the top 5 boxers in our lifetimes?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. That was supposed to be the biggest fight of the century. Total punches thrown in that match. 435 for Floyd, 429 for Manny Pacquiao, which is his lowest in any match ever. 148 punches landed for Floyd to 81 for Pacquiao. He landed 81 punches out of 429. That is 19%. You're never going to win a fight landing 19% of your punches. For Pacquiao. Floyd landed 34% of his punches. He also landed 25% of his jabs, 67 out of 267, where Pacquiao landed 9% of his jabs, 18 out of 193. You can't win a fight like that. 81 power punches connected for Floyd out of 168, 63 power punches out of 236 for Manny. So 27% connected for Manny, 48% on the power punches for Floyd. He's connecting almost 50% of his power punches alone. He connects more, and you know what? This is against a top 5 boxer in our lifetimes. We're talking about a guy who's not even a professional boxer.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not even a professional boxer. This is asinine for him to be in a ring with the greatest of our lifetimes, possibly the greatest ever of all time. Could be going 50-0 in this fight. The only reason Floyd's doing this fight is because he's going to make $300 million.
Well, exactly. This fight is all for the money on both sides. Both sides. And if you don't think that this is what this is about, if you actually think McGregor has a shot, or if you think Mayweather is really concerned about losing this fight, you really have not been paying attention. For McGregor, this is McGregor's biggest payday. His biggest by far. And he could retire after this fight if he wanted to. He's actually even alluded to it a little bit, that he doesn't want to have brain damage or anything like that. And Floyd, he needs this fight just as much to keep up the kind of lifestyle that Floyd likes to live. I would just want to end with this. This is Conor McGregor's debut fight. And debut fighters, when they actually join professional boxing, they struggle a little bit. And this is like really good boxers coming out of amateur to professional. They are really good, and then they struggle a little bit. And against bad fighters, not even top-notch fighters. This is McGregor's first boxing match against the best defensive fighter we have ever seen. If you think McGregor is going to win this fight, then you just have not been paying attention.
Well, one thing that I would like to add, and it's going off of the money, is that Floyd actually mentioned that he doesn't think Conor's going to make weight. Conor weighs, so he says, roughly 165 pounds right now. The fighting weigh-in is 155 pounds. If he does not make weight, he owes Floyd a nice chunk of change for that tax, or for the fine money. And Floyd wants that to happen. I read an article on it, and Floyd actually wants Conor not to make weight. He said they'll still fight. He doesn't care what he weighs. He will fight him at any weight. He'll take the money for the fine. So this is totally about money.
Yeah.
Floyd doesn't care that he already knows he's going to win. Conor McGregor, as much confidence as he has, he's got to have a little part in him that's saying, you know what? I am definitely in over my head. I'm going to take my $100 million. I'm going to quit fighting. I'm going to go on and live the rest of my career as a TV personality somewhere, because we all know that he's probably going to be in TV somewhere after everything that he's shown that he's loved by all these people, and et cetera, et cetera. What's your prediction for the fight?
I think Mayweather is going to win. I think it's going to go the full distance, simply because McGregor can take a punch. That's it. I don't think McGregor's going to score that much. I don't think he's going to get knocked out. I think he can handle getting hit very, very hard. We've seen him get hit very, very hard a lot, and he's been totally fine. I think the gloves aren't going to affect him that much, but he is going to get his ass whooped.
I think that we both agree Mayweather's going to win, although I believe that Mayweather is going to knock McGregor out.
Wow.
I think that McGregor fights in the UFC. That's a sprint. He is now fighting boxing, which is a marathon. You have 7 more rounds to go. I think he's going to get tired. I think he's going to exert all of his energy in the first couple rounds, because the fans are going to be going crazy. The anticipation of the fight everybody's been waiting for, etc., etc. I think he's just going to exert his energy. I think he's going to try to knock Floyd out. Floyd is too good of a defensive boxer. I think McGregor is going to open himself up, and Floyd's going to do a 1-2 combo right to the chin and put him out in the 8th round.
Okay. All right. Well, that is it for the super fight, the huge fight that is going to be happening on Saturday night. We will be back in a little bit with our AFC predictions. Can anybody really knock off the Patriots?
A little teaser for you. I think that the McGregor of the AFC is moving on to the Super Bowl
shut
this
up.
year.
Get the hell out of here.
We'll be right back on BTH.
You're listening to Between the Hash Marks with James Koklak and Sean McCabe, brought to you by an unknown sponsor we don't have yet. Now back to the show.
And we're back here on BTH. I'm James Koklak here with Sean McCabe, and we're going to do our AFC predictions. Now, football's coming up, best time of the year. Sundays, fun days, drinking beer, having burgers, hot dogs, grilling, watching TV in the pool down here in South Florida, at least. I know the winters up north are not all that fun to watch football in, but I got some interesting predictions to say the least. All right, so I want to start with the AFC North. We'll go into the AFC East in a little bit, but the AFC North is usually such like a really good division. You always have good teams. It's always really competitive. I don't think it's going to be like that this year. I think it's going to be less competitive as it usually is. I think the Steelers are heads and tails the best team in that division. With the addition of Martavis Bryant, you still have Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell said he's going to end the holdout on September 1st, although I do think he's probably going to get injured at some point. He's not in football shape. Yes, he's been working out, but that's besides the point. I think the Steelers are heads and tails the best team in that division, and the biggest threat to the Patriots in the AFC East, or in the AFC in general. I think the Ravens are going to go 9-7. I have the Steelers going 11-5. I'm sorry about that. I have the Ravens going 9-7. They will miss the playoffs. I think they'll have an average season. I just don't think Joe Flacco is the quarterback that everybody thought he was when the Ravens won the Super Bowl. I think their defense was the key contributor there. I think the Bengals, the Andy Dalton era is almost over for me. I have them going 6-10 this year. I think they have plateaued under Andy Dalton. I think A.J. McCarron is the future there. And I think this season is a wash for the Bengals. And the Browns. What do I have to say about the Browns? 4-12. 4-12 for the Browns. I think that they are a better team they were last year. But that being said, they are still the Browns. They have a lot of work to do. But I like the additions they've made. And I like the improvements that DeShone Kizer has shown this preseason. I think he's played well, and I think they have a bright future. I just don't think that bright future starts next year. What are your predictions for the AFC North?
All right, it's really simple. I'm very, very similar to you. I have the Steelers going 12-4. They have the best offense, in my opinion, in the AFC. Yes, even better than New England's offense. Le'Veon Bell's a monster. Antonio Brown. They have monsters for receivers, and Big Ben. He is Big Ben. Their defense has gotten better as well. I have them as 12-4. I have the Bengals finishing 9-7. I think they are super talented across the board in every single position except the quarterback position. I think they're very, very average there. That's why I only have them 9-7. Baltimore, I have it 8-8. I also have Baltimore missing the playoffs. Baltimore, I like Joe Flacco a lot. However, I don't think their defense is up to snuff. I don't think they have the weapons on offense that are up to snuff. And that's why I have the Ravens going 8-8. The Browns, I disagree with you. I don't think they're going to be that good. I think they're going to be 1-15 this season with their one win coming against the New York Jets. I do like some of the things that they are doing. I like Hugh Jackson. I like the direction that they're going. It seems like they have that clear identity of what they want to do. I just don't think it's going to translate into wins this season. That is my predictions for the AFC North. So Steelers, Bengals, Ravens, Browns.
I think that the one thing the Browns need to do is just give Hugh Jackson the time. He's a great coach. He's a great quarterbacks coach.
Yes.
Just give him the time. You can't fire him after this season or after next season. Give him 5 years to turn this team around. If you give Hugh Jackson that kind of time, I truly believe that they will go somewhere. But moving on to the AFC South, I think this division is the most up-in-the-air division, but also the weakest division in the AFC. I think that the Texans have the best defense in the AFC. I have them going 10-6, winning that division. I think that if Deshaun Watson can elevate his game and play like he did in the national championship game 2 years in a row, the Texans will have a winning season. I think they will make the playoffs. possibly a playoff win. We'll have to see in a couple minutes when we go into that. I have them winning that division at 10-6. This will be the second year in a row that the Texans have won the division. I think the Titans are up and coming. I have them going 8-8 this year. I don't believe they have the weapons. I think Mariota's a stud. I think Derrick Henry is a stud. Yes, DeMarco Murray had a great season last year. He's also getting a little bit older. He's that much closer to 30. They're still an up-in-the-air team for me. I like the addition of Eric Decker. I just don't think they have enough to win the division this year. I think they're a couple years away, but I do like the direction they're heading in. Finally, Colts. The dumbest team in the entire NFL is the Indianapolis Colts. The dumbest team in the entire NFL, I will say again, is the Indianapolis Colts. You go from Peyton Manning, you let him get beat up till he needs 4 neck surgeries. Then you finally get rid of Peyton Manning because he's older, he had 4 neck surgeries, you're ready to move on. Andrew Luck's in the draft. Why don't we go and tank? You're never going to win if you can't protect him. How often has Andrew Luck been injured so far in his young career? He can't stay healthy. He can barely have time to get the ball off. You cannot win football games, even with a quarterback, if you don't have an offensive line. The Colts need to learn how to protect Andrew Luck, and until they do, they're never going to be any good. It boggles my mind how you can have such a star quarterback and not care about if he gets hurt or not. How could you say you care and then not protect him, and you put your money elsewhere? Jaguars, a team that should be on the up and coming, a team that should have a winning record this year based on the talent that they have on that roster. I have at the basement of the division once again at 5-11. When the Jaguars finally realize that Blake Bortles is more accurate to the other team than he is to the Jaguars,
I think they're getting pretty aware of that.
They will finally be able to move forward. But until they do, they're going to be the bottom dwellers of not only the AFC but the NFL, because Blake Bortles is not a franchise quarterback.
I mean, I really can't disagree with you on that. Just going from top to bottom, AFC South, I have the Tennessee Titans winning the division. I think they'll go 11-5. I think they're going to run away with this division. I don't really think it's going to be close. I think they're going to hand it to every single team that they play in their division. I have them going 5-1 in the AFC South. Tennessee Titans going 11-5. Texans, I have them finishing 8-8, second in the division. Colts, I have finishing 8-8, third in the division. Reason why I have the Texans over the Colts: Texans go 4-2 in the division. Colts go 3-3. Texans, I love their defense. I don't believe in Savage, and I think Savage is going to start.
He is going to start.
I think Savage right now is better than Watson, and I don't think Watson is better. So I don't think either of them are reliable QB options for this team. Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Indianapolis Colts were tough for me to predict because I don't know what's going to be happening with Andrew Luck. Is he going to play week 2? Is he not going to play until week 7? I don't know. So I am basically...
Word on the street is he can barely throw a tennis ball at the moment.
Yes, and that scares the hell out of me. So I have excuse me. I have Andrew Luck coming back week 5, missing the first 4 weeks of the season. So that's why I have them going 8-8. If he plays before then, maybe they're 9-7 or 10-6. But until then, I can't give it to him. And they could actually be worse if he is awful, if he gets hurt again. Jacksonville, I have them at the basement as well at 5-11. Now, 5-11 could also very well easily be maybe 9-7, depending on how Blake Bortles plays. They are one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. Their defense is incredible. I love the Jags. I think they 2 through 56, great roster. Great roster. I think their offensive weapons are good. I didn't love the Leonard Fournette draft pick, but I can see where they're going with it. I understand the pick. I see where they're going with it. But Blake Bortles, they changed his throwing motion up, and he is worse with the throwing motion than he had before. Titans 1 at 11-5, Texans 2 at 8-8, Colts 3 at 8-8, and Jacksonville at 4 and 5-11.
Okay, so we somewhat agree on that division in a sense that it's kind of up in the air at the moment. Andrew Luck's injury.
Exactly.
The Titans, if they can take that next step, how the Texans quarterbacks play. But the thing we do agree on is the Jaguars going to 5-11, and that the Texans have a stout defense. That's not going to change.
One thing I do want to add with the Titans is that they know what they are. They are a run-heavy team. Their coach is okay, but he knows what he is, and he's not going to go outside of that box. They are going to run the ball all day with DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. And Mariota is going to have a breakout year this year. It doesn't matter who his receivers are. And he still has some pretty good receivers. They drafted Corey Davis with the 5th overall pick. I think that is going to be a good signing. Eric Decker, I think, could have a reemergence this season. Rashard Matthews, I think, is good enough to be that slot guy. And Delaney Walker is a nice safety blanket, and they have a good offensive line. That is why the Titans are going to dominate that division.
I like the Titans. I just want to see them make strides. And Mariota's injury last year frightens me a little bit this year. Is he going to be 100% healthy? Is he going to be 90% healthy? Is he going to be 80% healthy, 75% healthy? Where is his health at? Is his leg 100%? Because if his leg is 100%, he's mobile. Yeah. He can avoid a sack and do things that other quarterbacks can't. But if he's not mobile, I'm not sure where the Titans stand this year. But that division just it seems like it's up in the air every year.
Well, moving forward, the AFC East. Patriots are going 14-2 this year. Their 2 losses are actually going to be to the Atlanta Falcons, and I think they're also going to lose to the Denver Broncos in Denver. But they're going to go 14-2. They're going to have a dominant season. The additions they made this offseason, they are making additions like they've never won the Super Bowl in their history, even though they're coming off of the greatest Super Bowl comeback in NFL history. I have them going 14-2. Miami Dolphins are going to be 9-7, and they are going to make the playoffs. Listen to me. The Miami Dolphins are going to make the playoffs as the 6th seed. Jay Cutler is going to lead them to a winning record and to a playoff berth. Miami, stop hating on Jay Cutler. Stop saying Ryan Tannehill is better. He is not. Jay Cutler is the best quarterback you have ever had since Dan Marino. Get over it. Love your team. They will do well this season. Bills, they're going to go 6-10 this year. They're going to have a slight drop off. I really don't have anything to say about the Bills. It's cold up there. They're just going to suck.
Nobody likes them.
Nobody likes the Bills anyway. They're going to go 6-10. And the New York Jets, everybody, they will be the second team in NFL history to go 0-16. You heard it here first. James, what do you think?
Well, one thing that we agree on is the Patriots, my arch rival as a Jets fan, have made moves that I've never really seen them make. Usually they cut their star players and they will go with the average guy who will just fill the hole. Bill Belichick makes everybody work. You're not seeing that this offseason. I think that, and this is what I've heard, I do agree with it, and it's painful for me to admit that. This is the most talented roster Tom Brady has ever had as the Patriots quarterback. The most talented roster. I have them going 16-0, a perfect regular season.
Wow.
As a Jets fan. It pains me. But all good things come to an end, so eventually Tom Brady will have to tail off, but
keep dreaming.
16-0 for the Patriots, enough said. Bills, Buffalo Bills. I have them going 7-9 this year. They have shown that they are not playing for this year. They have shown that they are playing for next year and the year after and the year after. The one thing that the Bills have to their advantage is where they play, and that's in Buffalo. And teams that go to Buffalo don't normally do that well because of the cold, and the Bills usually have a solid defense. I don't think they're 7-9 talent-wise. I think that where they play will help them. Dolphins, 6-10. I have them going third in the division. 6-10 is because Jay Cutler has, yes, he's the best quarterback or second best quarterback since Dan Marino. You do have Chad Pennington in there who was a pretty good quarterback, but there's no camaraderie right now with them. They have never played a season together. Everything is fresh and brand new, and I want to see Jay Cutler progress through the season and how they do. But as it stands right now, I don't think that The Dolphins have the talent on that team to go more than 6-10 in the division where they play the Patriots twice, and no matter how bad the Bills and the Jets are, they're always good games against the division. In that division, they're such a hit or miss team for me. I'm not really sure what to expect from the Dolphins. Jets. See, I think we have the talent to go 0-16, but I don't want to be in that category with the 08 Lions. So I gave us a win against the Chargers. And we're going to go 1-15 this year. And we will have the first overall draft pick this year. And that's that. I have nothing to say about the New York Jets other than God help us.
Wow, you're a bold man saying that they're going to win that many games. But on to the AFC West. I have the Oakland Raiders winning the division. I actually don't think they are going to be as good as last season. I think their team got better. I think their schedule got tougher. They will be 10-6 this year. The reason why they're going to win the division is because they're going to play well in the division. They're going to go 5-1 in the division. I don't think the Marshawn Lynch signing is as big as everybody's going to make it out to be. And I think they won games last year, about 3 or 4 games last year, where if it weren't for Derek Carr drives with 2 minutes, 1 minute left in the game, they would have had 3 or 4 more losses. The game that speaks to me the most is that Ravens game where he threw it on the final play into the corner of the end zone, and it was a touchdown, and they won that game. I have them going 10-6. I think they win the division. Finishing second in the division is the San Diego Chargers. I am very high on the San Diego Chargers this year. They will go 9-7. They will go 3-3 division, 9-7 overall. I think the additions to the offensive line are really going to help them. Rivers is the most intense quarterback in the NFL, and that is a good thing. And their young defensive players like Joey Bosa are better than I thought. I thought they were going to be busts, but they're not. Their defense is looking very strong. They lost a lot of games last year that were very, very close. They were basically coin flips, and they could have gone either way. I think this year they will get a couple more of those wins that were losses last year. The Chiefs, I think they're going to take a slight step back because they are super talented. They're one of those teams that's super talented 2 through 56. But there's a reason why you trade up in the draft to draft a quarterback. And that's because you don't have confidence in the current quarterback that you have. If they were to have waited and drafted Mahomes late in the first round, I wouldn't have this suspicion on Alex Smith. But you don't do that unless you have a problem with Alex Smith. I have the Chiefs going 8-8 and finishing 3rd in the division. Denver, I have finishing 4th in the division, but that's no slight on Denver. They just play a really tough schedule. I think they're going to go 7-9. Their defense is top-notch. Defense still might be number 1 in the NFL, but they have no quarterback. Paxton Lynch looks awful. Trevor Siemian is going to be the starter for that team. John Elway surprisingly whiffed on this one. And I do not think that they are going to win the games they need to win. And I think they're going to lose games that they should win. And their schedule is just as tough. The AFC West, those 4 teams have the 4 toughest schedules going into this season. That's why I have them so bunched together. Raiders 10-6, Chargers 9-7, Chiefs 8-8, and Broncos 7-9. What say you?
Okay. I have the Raiders going 13-3, winning that division. They're going to be the number 2 seed in the AFC behind the Patriots. They will get a first-round bye. I love the Raiders. I think that they have a great team. I think with the addition of Marshawn Lynch, if he can be beast mode, that just brings a whole new element. Yeah, Latavius Murray was good, but he's not beast mode. Beast mode is beast mode for a reason. With Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper, Derek Carr, you're just stacked on offense. And I love their defense. I love Khalil Mack. I think he's like the Energizer Bunny out there. He's just he's a freak of nature. He's unstoppable. The Raiders 13-3, winning that division. Broncos, surprisingly, because I agree with you, their quarterback situation is just as bad as the Jets is in a sense. But I have them going 12-4. Why? Wow. Because their defense wreaks havoc. They can score 14 points a game on offense, and I still think that the Broncos are going to win 12 games because of their defense. Their defense has the capability of scoring once or twice in every single game because they are that talented. I don't think there's a defense in this league that competes the way the Broncos do. And I think that gives them an edge. The Chiefs, I have them going 10-6. I never really considered the Alex Smith thing before, and it makes a lot of sense to me, actually. I just think that they have such a talented defense and roster as well that there's no way they can't win 10 games. You have the likes of Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Spencer Ware, Charkandrick West. The list goes on of playmakers that they have on that team. And their defense, Eric Berry, Marcus Peters, phenomenal. They have such a stacked defense. They also have Justin Houston. They have such a talented team that I think no matter Alex Smith or Patrick Mahomes on their center, I think there's no way that they can't win 10 games, regardless of their schedule. San Diego Chargers. Not that I don't think they're a bad team. Or a good team, I'm sorry. I have them going 4-12, last in the division, once again. But I think they're going to lose a lot of close games. I think a lot of 3-point games, a lot of 2-point games, a lot of overtime games for the Chargers are going to be the reason why they're 4-12. I think they have a talented team. I think they are in a stage where they're trying to find an identity of who they are. Do they want to run the ball a lot? Do they want to throw the ball a lot? Who are they as a team? I don't think they know yet. And I think that when push comes to shove, when it comes to an important play, important time of the game, that's when that's going to matter. And I think that that's going to affect them. And I think they're going to lose a lot of close games this year. In that order, Raiders 1, Broncos 2, Chiefs 3, Chargers 4. So we went through our divisions, but here we go. Playoff time. Biggest time of the year for an NFL season is the playoffs. As we went through our
quickly, just run through your seeds 1 through 6 in the AFC.
Patriots 1, Raiders 2, Steelers 3, Texans 4, Broncos 5, Chiefs 6.
Okay, and what I'm looking at right now is I have Patriots 1, I have Steelers 2, I have the Titans as the 3rd seed, the Raiders as the 4, Chargers as 5, and the Dolphins as 6. One thing I do want to touch on quickly is some of you may notice that I have the Bengals, Dolphins, and Chargers all at 9-7. However, the Bengals are going to have the worst conference record. I think they're only going to go 7-5 in conference, and that's why if you don't win the tiebreaker, you don't move on. That's that simple.
It's clear cut and dry. It's in the rules. There's no getting around that.
Yep.
So, Chiefs 6 seed versus Steelers 3 seed, first round matchup. Texans 4 seed, Broncos 5 seed.
Okay.
I have the Steelers moving on, as well as the Texans overcoming the Broncos, as I hinted at earlier in this broadcast, moving on to play the Patriots. So my second round matchup would be Texans versus Patriots, Steelers versus Raiders in the known as best week of football.
Okay. Now I have the Dolphins going to Tennessee, and I have Tennessee winning that game. Reason why I have Tennessee winning that game, even though Miami beat them earlier in the year in Miami, this game is in Tennessee. And I don't think Miami is going to be a good road team this year. And I think that's where you'll see Jay Cutler really struggle and Tennessee's defense really just overpower Miami. I also have Raiders and Chargers, division matchup in the wild card round of the playoffs. I have the Raiders winning that matchup, and I actually have the Raiders beating the Chargers this season 3 times. 3 times this season. So I have the Titans going against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and I have the Raiders going to New England for the divisional round.
Okay. Those should be pretty good matchups. The NFL playoffs, man, it makes me tingle just thinking about it because there's nothing like it. Although Stanley Cup playoffs are better. But that being said, Raiders Steelers. I have the Steelers beating the Raiders in Oakland, mind you. In Oakland, that game will be. And I have the Texans, unfortunately, losing to the Patriots.
I was going to say, you'd be nuts if you would think Texans would beat.
Unfortunately, yes. I do believe that the Texans will lose to the Patriots. But I hinted last week that I had some kind of prediction for the NFL season this year.
Okay, then go ahead. Might as well tell me what it is.
Steelers versus Patriots, AFC Championship game.
Oh, don't even.
Patriots are now 17-0, and the Steelers are 13-5. The Patriots end the season 17-1 and will be upset in the AFC Championship game this year.
Christ.
We will have a new king of the AFC Championship game this year. No more Patriots on top. I'm sick of seeing it. The Patriots have the best team they've ever had, and yet they will not win a Super Bowl this year.
I'm speechless. I cannot agree with that at all. I don't know what kind of presence is making you say this. Whatever, man. Whatever. I have the Titans beating the Steelers in the divisional round. I have the Titans going to Pittsburgh and beating Pittsburgh. And I think that's going to be because they are going to run stuff them. They're going to take Le'Veon Bell out of the game, and they're going to get pressure on Big Ben. And Marcus Mariota, like I said, he's going to have a breakout year this year, and they're just going to run the ball. Run the ball.
To the AFC Championship
Titans
game.
are going to the AFC Championship game, and they will face the New England Patriots. I do not have New England going undefeated. I have them going 14-2. They will beat the Oakland Raiders. I think they'll actually stomp the Oakland Raiders simply because the Raiders don't have a defense. They do have nice players on defense, but their defense is not amazing. They are very spotty good. They have their games where they are amazing, but they have their games where they are awful.
They remind me of an energetic defense.
Yes. Okay, I can agree with that. They are a very energetic defense, but
it's not always good.
Energetic defense means undisciplined. That's how I view energetic. And
Lots of penalties.
And I think New England is going to exploit those deficiencies that they have, and I think they're going to roll over Oakland in that game. AFC Championship game is going to be Tennessee at New England, and I think that game will be very, 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 very close, but New England's going to win.
Of course New England's going to win.
Hey, I'm just telling you what's going to happen. It's not my fault. You don't like the facts.
I hate the Patriots. I can't stand them. I cannot stand the Patriots. I can't wait for Tom Brady to retire. I respect him. I think he's the GOAT of all time. Or the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But I can't stand him. I just can't stand them. And I'm gonna tell you, I want to explain to you really quick why I think the Steelers are going to upset the Patriots in Foxborough this year.
Might as well.
Because
hold on. Let me put this helmet on so I don't get any more dumb. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Dumb. All right. Well, first off, you have the Steelers going up against the Raiders. For reasons you just mentioned, I do know the Raiders are undisciplined. Last year they had the game where they took the single most penalties in NFL history in a game. Okay, I understand that. I think they're too good offensively, so they can allow 24 points a game and still win games, still be 13-3. But the Steelers, man, yeah, they have a good defense. They really do. Their defense has improved this year with the additions of T.J. Watt and Ryan Shazier's back for another year. James Harrison, he's just a living legend. The guy spends $300,000 a year on his health alone so he can play this much. You got to give him credit. You add Martavis Bryant back to that. You got Ladarius Green, who's healthy now. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. The weapons go on and on. You can't stack the box. You can't do it. You cannot stack the box against the Steelers. You have too many outside weapons. Antonio Brown is still going to catch 5 passes a game, even with help over the top or getting double covered. This and that. He's proven it time and time again. He's worth the $17 million for paying them to play wide receiver for him. They are too good offensively. With the addition of Martavis Bryant back, adding another threat, you still have Sammy Coates. They're too talented offensively. They're going to steamroll the Raiders. Just like you think the Patriots are going to, I think the Steelers are going to. And then Steelers-Patriots. I think that last year, the Patriots don't even make the Super Bowl if Le'Veon Bell doesn't get hurt in the first quarter of that game. That game is totally different. They still may have made the Super Bowl. That is a totally different game if Le'Veon Bell is in there. Now you're adding a healthy Le'Veon Bell back and a Martavis Bryant who's out to prove himself after being suspended for a whole year. I think they are too talented offensively. I think it'll be a shootout. Don't get me wrong. I don't think the Patriots will be stopped by any means. They will be 17-0 going into this game. But I think that the Steelers will win the game on the likes of 38-35, 41-38, somewhere in that range. It's going to be close. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to come down to probably a field goal at the end, or the Steelers will be losing by 4 and will score a game-winning touchdown in the last minute of the game, something along those lines. But I think this is the year that the Steelers get back to the Super Bowl, and I think that eventually the Patriots are going to have to tail off, and it's not going to be this year by any means. But at one point during every season, every team has a blip, whether they lose that game or not. And I think the blip is going to be in the very last game of the season for the Patriots, and I think they will crumble when a push comes to shove in the fourth quarter, and they will give up the lead or give up the tie and let the Steelers hang on for a win in the last 2 minutes of the game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting the Patriots. I just think that the Steelers have added another weapon, and it'll be closer than people think. And I think that the Steelers want this more than ever because of how the game played out last year.
You want to know why you're wrong?
Why?
All right. There is no way Pittsburgh is going to put that many points up against New England. New England is going to have one of the best defenses this year. They are going in last year when their defense was considered one of the best last year. They pressured Big Ben into making awful mistakes, and they're going to do that again. They're going to get to him. I know their pass rush isn't amazing, but their pass rush is going to look different at the end of the year than it is going to today. Another thing, Mike Tomlin, he is I don't want to say he's a bad coach, but he is not elite. He only won a Super Bowl because he took Bill Cowher's team to the Super Bowl. That's the only reason why he had all the players given to him. It's not like he drafted those players or majority of those players. He didn't build that team together.
He did take another team to the Super Bowl, although it was a loss.
This team is very, very, very undisciplined. They were full of distractions last year. And this year, Le'Veon Bell's holding out. When players hold out, it never ends well for them.
I agree.
Ever. That's why I think you could see Le'Veon Bell not playing well this year or getting hurt this year.
I think the Steelers are going to win. The reason I have them going 11-5 and not better is because I think Le'Veon Bell will get hurt. I think he's going to pull a hamstring or something is going to happen where he's going to miss roughly 2 to 4 weeks. It's not going to be a major injury, but it's going to be because he's not in football shape. He did not go to training camp. If you don't go to training camp, it's one thing to be on a football field and running through the ladders and doing your thing and working out and getting yourself stamina shape ready, yes. But it's another thing to be in training camp and taking the hits and taking the hits and taking the hits and preparing yourself to take a beating like you're going to do week after week in the NFL. And I think that's going to affect Le'Veon early on in the season. Once he comes back from that, he will be ready to go, and I think it's going to be a different year. I think you give me something. You got to agree with me here. They have so much talent. They may be undisciplined, but if they can put it all together,
they are super offensively talented.
They are the biggest threat to the Patriots in the AFC if they can put it all together.
See, I don't even think they're the biggest threat to the Patriots. I think they're very undisciplined. I could see them losing many times to many. I think there are teams that may not be as talented, but will be a better team
as a whole.
Exactly. And I just don't. People tell me, oh, their defense is better. Their defense is better. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. It's just every single year I'm told, oh, the Steelers got the Patriots this time.
I really think.
How many times have the Steelers actually had the Patriots?
I've
counted on one hand.
I've never really thought that, except for last year. And I remember, I was in London at the time. And you know when I went to London? It was last October.
Yep.
I was in London. And the Jets played the Steelers that week. And sure enough, we got smoked. And I knew we were going to get smoked. But watching that game and seeing how they play offensively, I thought for sure that there wasn't another offensively talented team like them in the AFC. Now you're adding Martavis Bryant to that. I know other teams have gotten better and have made additions, but offensively, I do think that they could put up 38 points on the Patriots. Look what the Falcons did to them, and I think the Steelers team is better offensively than the Falcons are.
That's crazy. No way.
I think they have a better offensive line. I think they have I would take Antonio Brown over Julio Jones. I'm taking Le'Veon Bell over both Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman combined. I'm taking Martavis Bryant over Mohamed Sanu. I'm taking every position player that they have over the position players in Atlanta, including Ben Roethlisberger over Matt Ryan. They have a better offense, and look what they did in the first half. I know they shut down in the second half, but that was also the biggest stage, and I think that the Steelers have more pedigree and more experience at that stage. And if they were to put up 28 points in the first half, they're not going to shut down like the Falcons did. The Patriots may come back and may get a game, but it's not going to be a complete shutdown like we saw in the Super Bowl this past year. I think the Steelers are too talented for that. And if the Falcons can put up that kind of numbers on the Patriots in one half, why can't the Steelers? 2 stats for you, though. And they're both valid stats.
Okay.
First is Tom Brady is 40 now. We haven't seen him play yet this year.
He looks like he's 27.
But he is 40. And after playing 17 games, I think that being that age may catch up to him at that point in the season. So it's very possible that the Steelers could have a better outcome this time because Tom Brady isn't in his prime anymore. He may be playing like he is, but technically, age-wise, he's not. He's closer to father time than he is to being in his prime.
Okay.
Age-wise. Okay. Second thing, 2009 or was it 2010? The Jets got smoked, 45-3 against the Patriots. I remember it. I was sitting in my bedroom with all my friends. We were all Jet fans. My mom and brother are both Patriot fans. We could not leave my room to go downstairs for the rest of the night. We were so embarrassed. And if I'm not mistaken, who knocked the Patriots out of the playoffs that year?
You know the answer to that, dog.
I do. The New York Jets. Anything can happen when it comes down to the NFL playoffs. I almost said NHL playoffs, which is true because we made it the Stanley Cup this year, the 16th overall seed out of 16. So, beyond the point. Anything can happen in the playoffs. The New York Jets got absolutely throttled, 45-3.
Yes.
And then we come back and beat you in the playoffs. Anything can happen. That proves it right there. That the Patriots are top dog when it comes down to the playoffs. And it sounds crazy because the 7 Super Bowl appearances...
If you just want to talk about the playoffs, Pittsburgh has never beaten Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Oh, I believe it. But throw this out there, though. So, they've made it to the Super Bowl 7 times in Tom Brady's career, which is outstanding.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But that's still less than every other year for his career, which would be absurd. But it's still less than every other year. So if history is proving to repeat itself like it does, no matter how good the Patriots are, they're bound to somehow lose in the playoffs because it happens to them more often than it does not. Technically speaking. And I know it sounds ridiculous because they're the Patriots and they've won so much and they're always in the Super Bowl. But 7 years in 19 or 20 years that Tom Brady has played, that's less than half. So less than every other season they're making the Super Bowl, which means that there's nothing to say they won't be back next year. But the odds are against them to make it again.
No, it's very tough repeating. It's very tough making it 2 years in a row. And they've only made it 2 years in a row once.
And that was in his first 3 years of playing.
Correct.
So he hasn't been able to do it since, and he's only gotten better.
No, you are right.
There are the numbers as good as I think they're going to be. 16-0, 17-0 going into that game. The numbers are against them to lose that game, or the numbers are for them to lose that game, and are against them to make the Super Bowl again. They have an added stress.
I guess if you look at it from that angle, the numbers are against them. But if you just look at the head-to-head matchup of Mike Tomlin against Bill Belichick, Bill Belichick's undefeated,
and he's the best coach of all time.
In the postseason, sorry.
he's the best coach of all time. But not even the best coach of all time is going to win year after year after year after year after year. It is too hard. And I think that not only are the Patriots going to go 16-0, but they're going to get everybody's best shot. Everybody's best game is going to be against the Patriots because everybody wants to show that
that's why I have them
losing.
That's why I have them losing 2 games. I think they're gonna mess up in those 2 games.
I think that one game will just happen to be in the playoffs. I think that they're going to be so good in the regular season, nothing's going to stop them. But
fair enough. All right, interesting points here. Interesting debate. Please tell us what you think of our show. You can get to us at bthashmarks@gmail.com. You can go to our YouTube page, Between the Hashmarks channel, or you can like us on Facebook at bthashmarks. Exciting show, James. Exciting show. I think you're dumb, but it's all right.
Hey, it's okay. We're supposed to disagree. We can't agree on everything. But that being said, for next week, do I have a rematch of the Super Bowl?
Oh, please.
Who do I have coming out of the NFC?
Oh,
Think back. Because it's very possible.
And to tease again for 2 weeks in a row, there is a prominent NFC East team in danger of missing the playoffs. Stay tuned for next week to find out.